So let's check out this track called Saturn from yours truly. Came out on Disciple. I have the whole project here, and before we get into anything, I just wanted to let y'all know that the presets are going to be downloadable on my Patreon. So if you guys want to check out some more content, make sure to become a patron so that you'll be able to download every single content mentioned in any of my videos. So, excuse me. First and foremost, let's check out this intro. I kept it really simple because sometimes, you just want to stay low key. You don't want to do too much in an intro. So in this case, I did super basic hi-hats. Sometimes I put serum effects, all passes on there just so it gets a little blurred. Blurred and metallic. That's what I want people to put on my headstone. Metallic and blurred. Basic kicks. Basic clap, basic sub, this splice loop, impact. This is the same impact sound, I think, but I used spectral time on it. You can use spectral time to do these spectral weird effects because it basically acts like a spectral delay. If I show you with a serum, so yeah, that's what I did, but only with the impact, Nosphere tag, and then one of the main basses stemmed out, and then I just messed around with it so it's more low-key, fits the intro. Couple of cashmere exhaust samples. Keeping everything low-key. Then the tag, and then we go straight into the drop. Now the drop is pretty simple. It's just one rhythm, changing a little bit every now and then. It's kind of the crowd-pleasing, works on a show type track. First instance. Basic serum, sine wave, pitch bend, and I just created the sound with basic distortion. So the pitch bend goes into this frequency shifter, then the erosion to give it some stereo noise, then the amp on blues, slight compression, slight saturation, cutting out the lows because I knew I wanted something different for the sub bass, and then clipping it with G-clip. Then I duplicated the whole thing, switched the effects around, amp became the first thing in the chain. Let me show you what I did. On the serum itself, it's the same thing with a different LFO for the sine wave. I also have two effects here. One hyperdimension, no dimension, because that sucks in mono compatibility. I used the mix on about 30%, detune rate all the way up to give it some stereo random noise. Then I have this EQ, which jumps on the high end to a peak. Nothing too crazy. So then, distortion. Then, spectral resonator. I used the chorus on 100% mod rate with 100% pitch mod. So also the unison is turned up all the way. Dry wet is 100%. So what that's going to do is it creates randomness, random stereo information. That's what I wanted. Then slight compression, slight saturation. Then an overdrive, EQing so it fits with the previously shown preset, clipping it and then adding it some room. After that, I have a third layer. You could say it's the main thing. It's a metallic hit. I don't even know from where. I think I just searched for metal. Yeah, it's just a basic metal hit from Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I mean, it sounds fire by default, to be honest. So I didn't do a whole lot to it. I just cut out the lows, mess around with frequency shifters so I could find a spot that I liked. 2 dispersers, I think both of them above 2 kilohertz. No, just one of them is above 2 kilohertz and the other one is at 1 kilohertz. The more pinch you have, the more concentrated the phase issues are going to be on the selected frequency. I usually use disperser to soften the attack of certain bass sounds. So in this case, I use it kind of as a transient shaper, but I put the transient to the negative, if that makes sense. Then I use punch or pants. I don't know how to pronounce that shit, but yeah, this is a cool plugin from Oversampled. I sometimes use the transient shaping aspect of it, and if I want insanely aggressive compression, I use the NYC compressor. Yeah, I just use the transient to boost into this clipper. So this basically is a transient shaper / clipper. So I'm just basically boosting the transients into the clipper. You can do this with any, you can do this with 2 plugins basically, but I just used it this way because it was faster. Then I grouped all of this together and I used a clipper. I use all kind of clippers. Don't let this confuse you. There's really no point in using this many clippers. This is just something I do, but it's not necessary. Just basically distorting everything that comes into the group. So these 3 channels are going into this clipper, distorting, EQing out the lows, making everything mono, because I think the stereo was a little bit off, so I just made everything mono on the group, and then used a super low quality metallic reverb to give it some room. Later on in the second drop, I used this spectral time to change the tone of the sample, and this is how I got this effect. I just had crazy delays because of the spectral time, because of how it works. This was just easier. I just froze the whole channel, put it down, pushed it to the left a little bit, and then that's it. Okay, let's get to the juicy stuff. Okay, so this is a pretty basic square bandpass sound. Barely any effects on it. I mean, these don't do a lot, but let me show you. Hyperdimension for the stereo again. Filter to kind of blur the sound a little bit. OTT, EQ. Give it some more vowel movement. After this, I use amp on blues. Dial the gain back a little bit because it was a bit too aggressive. 3 MOTTs, which is the multiband compression preset. Crazy EQ going into a saturator so I can distort the sub together with the mids. And I did this intentionally because I wanted this layer to be a background quarter note style layer. I have a bunch of shit here, but it's not really important, I think. It's just a little bit of space, a little bit of EQing, just to fit the track. But basically, it's just a hella distorted square bandpass. Also here, a bit crusher and a bit speak effect turns on. That's what it gives it, that vowel-y movement. Without the bit crusher, basic stuff in my opinion. Oh, also, the fills are pretty cool. I wanted to spice up the drop, so I looked for any kind of orchestral, cinematic, any kind of instrument that was a real-life instrument, so I could incorporate anything real into the drop. So I found this flute sample on Splice, which originally sounds like this. So I grabbed that and sliced it up, and now it basically comes back around every 4 bars. Fills up the drop quite good, I think. It's a good addition. I like it a lot. For the turnarounds, I have this Cymatics bass guitar C# thingy, which I put a lot of effects on. Basically distorted it with an amp, pedal, OTT, EQ3, and then boosting the second harmonic or boosting the first harmonic. That's it. Nothing too crazy. Then barely alive toms with different pitches. That's almost it. I still have some glitches here, but this is the usual stuff. I just got a little small chunk of audio from one of the presets, repeated it enough times, and then gave it some love with saturation going into a vocoder, then 3 OTTs and a limiter. You know, no rocket science over here. Then I used my sub, which is a basic sub bass, nothing too crazy, but it goes like that. It pitches down, goes quarter note rhythm, except when it switches to the guns on the B section. Oh yeah, let's check out this machine gun thingy. It's a pretty fucking simple sound, square, OTT, hyper, nothing too crazy. But then the processing comes along. The processing, I'm gonna delete everything that's disabled. I have an EQ3 fake disperser type deal, nothing too fancy. Delays the transients a little bit. 3 MOTTs. Slight compression, slightly louder. Then distorting into the saturator. And then we're done. Yup. Okay, I'm probably gonna give you this gun and the guns in the beginning and the distorted thing. So if you want those, go check out the Patreon. Drums are not too interesting. So insanely loud distorted kick drum. Let me know which track do you guys want to see next. Valentin Virtual Riot actually commented on one of my videos, so that's hype. He's been a big idol for me when I started out, and I really love his music, so I'm super down to check out his tutorials. Obviously, I saw almost all of them, so it's gonna be a funny thing to review something from him, but yeah, he suggested himself, so we're gonna give it a shot soon. But yeah, make sure to send me ideas for the videos, primarily tracks you want to see from me, production videos you want to see from me, sussy tutorials you want me to react to. Peace. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to check out my website for a lot of high quality Serum and Vital presets and drum samples. You can also support me on Patreon, where I upload bass music specific tutorial content every single month. Peace.